To the Yarlow Home Print Show every Sunday at 2 p.m. or on your favorite podcast app.
Hey, did you know Vistaprint prints everything a small business needs? Like if a barbershop needs signage, we print outdoor signs, posters, and banners. Or if a ballet school needs merch,
1, 2,
we print tote bags, t-shirts, hoodies, hats. Or if a coffee shop needs a total refresh,
vanilla latte for Mike.
Vistaprint designs logos and prints it on menus, mugs, paper bags, anything. Because with Vistaprint, the printabilities are endless. Print it all with 25% off for new customers with code NEW25 at Vistaprint.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Sunshine today with a high of 70, then tonight clear with a low of 50. Nightingale is your cozy, comfortable neighborhood bar and restaurant at 26th and Lyndale in Minneapolis. Come in for the famous Nightingale burger or the ginger tamari chicken wings. View their menu or place a takeout order at nightingalempls.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Hello, humans! It's me, Ellie Krug with Ellie 2.0 Radio. Hello! How are you on this Saturday, the 16th of September? I am here, and I am live. Yes, it's one of the rare Ellie 2.0 live radio shows. I am thrilled to be here, and I, as always on my live shows, I would absolutely love to hear from you. Our number is 952-946-6205. Please call in. Give me a call. It's free agency. You can call and talk about any subject that you want. However, I'm live here today because we have a really incredibly great show. We have a wonderful guest, two guests actually, that you are going to enjoy so very much. Young idealist. I'll get to him in a second. But I'm also going to talk about the change in poverty rates for children in America. We just got the data out that came out this week. It is horrible. That's the right word. Horrible news. I'm also going to talk about what's going on in Florida and Missouri as it relates to transgender people. That's also horrible. Okay. Yes, I know. I'm going to depress you, but after that, okay, I've got some great news about what happened with a book banning attempt in Carver County, my home county. That's positive news. And then at the end, I'll give you a little bit about what I'm doing. I'll give you more positive news about the world, okay? So don't worry. You're going to come out of the show feeling good. And the first thing that will make you feel good are my two guests here today. I am thrilled. Just absolutely thrilled to be able to speak with Eli Frost and his mother, Anna Frost, who are here in the studio with me right now live. Eli, welcome to Ellie 2.0 Radio.
Yes, hello. It's great to be here.
I'm thrilled to have you here. Anna, thanks for bringing Eli in, and thanks for being here as well.
You're welcome.
Okay, so audience, now, I need to make clear, this interview that I'm conducting is being done as Ellie Krug, journalist, radio host, human, and First Amendment user. Okay, I'm not here speaking as a member of the Eastern Carver County School Board. So let's just make sure that's all clear, because I am reporting on a public event, and that's why I have Eli here. Audience, you may remember that at one time, well, you've heard me speak about it off and on the whole spring about the fact that for over a decade, Eastern Carver County Schools, again, I'm reporting now as a reporter here at Public Information, Eastern Carver County Schools for over a decade was holding the graduation ceremonies for its two public high schools, Chanhassen and Chaska, at an evangelical church in Eden Prairie. And you may recall, that went on. And you may recall also that from the pulpit of that church, there were marginalizing words repeatedly made about people who are identified as LGBTQ, people who are divorced because the church apparently doesn't believe in divorce under any circumstance, people who support Black Lives Matter, and all of those things, okay? And so there was a movement to move the church from the graduation ceremonies from that church to someplace else. And I'm here to report that on Monday of last week, the school, not the school board, didn't have anything to do with it, but the school announced that the graduation would no longer be at that church, and for 2024 would be at Target Center in downtown Minneapolis. All right, I had to lay all that out because the reason that Eli Frost is here is that Eli Frost, who at the time was a sophomore in high school, was the one who got the ball rolling. Eli, welcome to Ellie 2.0 radio. And what you did is you started the ball rolling by getting a petition on change.org to move the graduation. You got that petition online. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Tell us about that. Tell us how did that come about, and tell us, what was the process for you getting it on, and what kind of reaction did you get to the petition?
Well, I've been frustrated. Both me and my mom have been frustrated since we found out that the graduation was held at Grace, because it doesn't align with our viewpoints in terms of basically anything. And so I haven't thought of it as an appropriate venue for years now. And sophomore year, I decided that it's time to start doing something, because even if I can't get it changed, I could at least try. And so I ended up starting the petition, as you know, and shared it with members of the speech team that I'm on. And it just kind of snowballed from there. It got shared on Facebook and Chaska Facebook groups. And I was eventually able to get it on like some prominent separation of church and state groups that were able to share the petition and gain more traffic. And I also utilized TikTok. I got a couple TikTokers to make videos about the petition, and they were Minnesota TikTokers, most of them. So yeah, that's kind of how it got rolling, and we eventually got to almost 2,800 signatures before the district made a decision, and it was really great to see the community rally behind the petition and get it changed in the end.
Well, okay, I'm going to come back to what you just laid out, Eli, because that's so imaginative and so much work. Anna, Eli's mom, Anna, you have told me that before Eli did this, you actually tried. You went to the school board, to the administration, to try and get them to change the location. Is that right? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, when I first heard about it, I was really surprised that was even happening. I'm like, it's a public school, and why would we be hosting like an important event like that at a church? It just didn't make sense to me. So I did email the school board when Eli was in 9th grade and just said, here's why I think this is not a good idea, and like, can we please talk about making a change? And I just got kind of a canned response from the school board, like, this is what we've always done, this is why this is a great venue. And it kind of felt like, why do you even care? You don't have a senior. But my feeling was, I'm going to have a senior, and I know things take a long time to change, and so I'd like to talk about this now. But nothing happened at that point, so it just kind of left it. And then the following year, Eli started his petition.
Yeah, he sure did. And then Eli, I mean, I think that what my audience needs to understand is that you did all that. I mean, you got the petition on going. You reached out to groups that believe in separation of church and state. You did the TikToking, but you also came to the school board. I mean,
Oh yeah, for sure.
You came in the spring. I don't remember if it was April or March of this year, and I mean, this is what got the ball rolling with the school board. I mean, in the school district, you came and you said, I have this petition. And you said we need to change, right?
Yeah. So yeah, that about sums it up. I had started the petition. The ball was very much rolling at that point. I think around that time I had over 500 signatures, I think, when I came to the meeting originally. And yeah, I went and talked and just basically said that I think it needs to change. And we got a couple other people that came and also spoke
Yep.
in support of changing the venue. So they did fantastic too. And and then I came back in, I think it was May or June
Yep.
to again reiterate that I think we should be moving the venue and lay out more points that I felt supported that idea of moving the venue.
Well, and I will tell you, now I don't know if you were in the room, but the school board members get to speak at the end of their public meetings. And after you came and talked about the petition, I went on the record like that night and said, we need to move it. Okay. And so thank you. All right.
Yeah.
Because
Thank you.
Yes.
well, but the point here is, Eli, if you had not come, okay, if you had not done the petition, if you had not started the ball rolling, I am really pretty confident we'd be still having graduation at Grace next year. Okay. I just want you to know that.
I mean, I believe that too. I think if no one brought up the issue, I don't necessarily think I'm more special than anyone else or anything. I think anyone could have done what I did and united the community. I just think I was the first one to do it. And I agree with you completely that if no one had really brought a concerted effort to change it, it wouldn't have been done.
Well, so Eli, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, what I want to do is I want to talk with you about what's it like to be, are you what, 16?
I'm 16.
To be a 16-year-old in America right now. Okay. I want to talk a little bit about that. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Because
Awesome.
I don't get young people on the record very often. And then I'd love to hear what it's like to be a 16-year-old's mom. Okay. With whatever you got going on. All right. So we're going to take a break in a sec. We're going to take a break. And when we come back, we'll talk more with Eli Frost and his mom, Anna, about what's going on in America right now. You're listening to Ellie Krug on Ellie 2.0 radio. If you like what you hear, visit my website at elliekrug.com. Follow me on X, used to be Twitter, at Ellie Krug. And if you want to call in, give us a call at 952-946-6205. I am speaking to an architect of separation of church and state. We'll be back in a second. Hello, this is Ellie Krug from Ellie 2.0 radio on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Many listeners know that I train on human inclusivity and on how to be welcoming to diverse humans. Today, organizations of all sizes find that they need to train team members on equity and dismantling racism. I can do that. Many say that my trainings change how they see the world. And now I'm doing all of my work online so everyone can attend regardless of where you're located. For more information, go to elliekrug.com. Thank you. I look forward to hearing from you.
Tune in this Saturday morning right here on AM 950 for the Gardening with Joy and Holly radio show from 7 to 8 a.m. We'll be discussing living walls inside your home as well as planting those fall mums. Our guest is chicken expert Lisa Steele will be with us, and we'll answer your garden questions. That's all this Saturday morning from 7 to 8 a.m. right here on AM 950. Tell a friend and let's grow together.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950, here to tell you about the exterior construction company I trust, Snap Construction. If your home was hit with the most recent storms, trust the most well-reviewed exterior construction company, Snap Construction, for a free home inspection.
This is Ryan, owner of Snap Construction. There are a lot of great construction companies in town. My advice is to take your time and do your research. Make sure they are locally owned and that they guarantee their craftsmanship for life. Also, you want to find a company that's been in business for at least 10 years. You want to work with a company that's going to be there long after the work is done. Snap Construction has handled thousands of claims, and we'll help you through the process.
Don't go with the out-of-town, fly-by-night contractor. Most storm damage goes missed by the untrained eye. Trust Snap Construction for your free storm damage evaluation. For your free storm damage evaluation, call Snap Construction at 612-333-SNAP or visit them online at snapconstruction.com. That's 612-333-SNAP or snapconstruction.com.
It's the start of our favorite season in Minnesota, football season. That's right, with all the hype and action this season brings, we know things can get loud and messy quick. Before you invite your friends and family over to watch the big game, you better call my cleaning heroes at Zero Res to clean up all of those fumble moments in your home. Lucky for you, you can score big this month with great savings. Right now, you can get your entire home zero resified from Minnesota's ultimate carpet cleaner and get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $149. It's also a perfect time of year to get your air ducts cleaned this month with $100 off your air duct cleaning. And air duct cleaning will help alleviate allergies and asthma. You will enjoy less dust, lower energy bills, and your home will stay cleaner longer. Schedule your appointment today at ZeroResMinnesota.com or by calling 952-ZERO-RES and asking for the AM 950 special. Zero Res.
She will always carry on. Something is lost, something is found.
And we're back. Ellie 2.0 radio. Okay, now listen, it's a live show. And if you want, give us a call at 952-946-6205. I have here with me Eli Frost and his mom, Anna Frost. Eli was the person who got the ball rolling to get graduation at Eastern Carver County Schools changed from an evangelical church to a public place. It'll be in Target Center in June of 2024. Eli, before we took our break, I said that I'd like you to, you're 16 years old. You're a junior in high school at Chaska High. You live in a county that was red, but now is probably pretty solidly purple, I would say.
I would agree with that.
Tell me, because I don't get, I talk to a lot of young people, but I don't ever get the chance to ask, what's it like? How, what are you happy about in the world? What are you scared about? What hopes do you have for the future?
Well, I'm scared about, there's a lot of things. I feel like we're going in the wrong direction, and climate change and like corporations just kind of get to do whatever they want. And like, we don't have a high enough minimum wage, and just a lot of things in our government are either broken or made for people that are super, super wealthy. But one thing that does end up giving me hope is that I think the younger generation, like my generation and the generation above me and below me, is working to change that overall through small steps. You've seen what's happened in the past 2 years for like with March for Our Lives and climate protests that have been led by young people. Like this generation gives me hope that eventually when we're all in our 20s, we'll be able to kind of right the ship and kind of get America going back on a more positive course than we're going right now. And I just hold out hope that in a couple of years, when we're all old enough to vote, we'll be able to do the right thing. Because this generation to me is like, it's the most progressive generation, most LGBTQ generation, most diverse generation. And those things are going to end up leading to positive change if we don't implode before then.
Well, it's so when I don't tape, or when I'm not live, I tape my shows, and every show that's taped, I feature an idealist at the beginning of the show. And a couple of weeks ago, I featured David Hogg.
Oh, really?
Yeah. David, he announced back in 2018 he was going to run for Congress. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure he's going to do that. Okay. But just think of what he's done. Obviously the circumstances that got him to be politically active, unfortunately,
really horrible circumstances.
But I agree with what you're saying. Okay. That I absolutely believe that the future rests. The change rests with your generation. Okay. We've got Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and her generation is kind of the middle. It's going to, the middle between what are the younger people that, as you say, are the most progressive. Anna, tell us, what you as the mom of a 16-year-old, okay, what's on your mind about where things are today and about the future for Eli and other children and humans his age?
Well, listening to him talk, it gives me more hope, because I feel like, he is right that his generation can make some really positive change. I do worry, like he mentioned too, like we are headed in the wrong direction. You know, we're kind of seeing an erosion of rights across the board. And I was listening to another podcast or something, and they were talking about like, have we gone as far as we could as far as giving people rights, and now like the wave is going back? And I really hope that's not right, because that does make me really worried for the future and for generations to come. So but yeah, if we can get more Eli's in the world who are working to make positive change, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, yeah. And Eli, I mean, with your work around the petition at the school and all of that, I mean, how did your classmates and how did your teachers receive that?
Well, I mean, there's definitely been like like there's been people on both sides. For like a lot of people in speech and a lot of my close friends were very supportive of the
Yep.
petition. I've had a lot of like teachers that were supportive, like teachers from the GSA and teachers more broadly overall. And we've also had, there's classmates who obviously are not supportive and who have messaged me on certain platforms, and it's it is what it is. Like, yeah, I knew I wasn't going to convince everyone.
Yep.
But I do believe the majority of our grade has their hearts in the right place, and I know a lot of people seem to be anxious about it being held at Target Center or in downtown Minneapolis, but I think after the event is held for the first time, and if we keep doing that, there'll be less and less anxiety about that. It's just
Right.
like getting over the hump of change.
Yeah.
Change is hard, and I know that from trying to create the change, and I know that it's going to be hard for people who really enjoyed it at Grace to change and move to Target Center, but I think it'll be great when it's there.
But Eli, so I cannot tell you in enough words how my heart is bursting right now. Okay. Just having you here and the courage, because it took a lot of guts on your part. It really did.
Thank you.
No, it did. And so you're the lessons that you're learning just through this process. And I will tell you, just as a member of the community, okay, I am thrilled that we have a school system that produced an Eli. Okay.
Agreed.
I mean,
no.
Our district should be this is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to educate. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Speaking as a citizen right now, but
Yeah.
aren't we supposed to educate our students to be good citizens? I think that's actually in the mission statement.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I mean, I've loved most of my teachers. I think the district, this was more of a critique of a thing that the district was doing. Like, my teachers have been great.
Oh, yeah.
I've loved them. Overall, I feel like the school district has done, at least for me, a good job of providing a good learning experience, especially with like my special ed accommodations. Like, I feel like they've done great, but like, it's just what they were doing in this instance was not great. So I feel like overall it's been a positive experience. So,
all right. So here's the last question. Okay. Eli, what do you think made you an idealist? And remember, I define idealist as somebody who is, actively working to change for positive change in the world.
I don't know. I probably give a lot of credit to my mom. She's always been out there doing good work, showing up to meetings, going and talking to state representatives. She's gotten me involved in things, and as much credit as she gives me for having the courage to speak I spoke at an education rally when I was probably 10 years old. As much credit as I can get for speaking there. Mom brought me, and I couldn't have gotten there if it wasn't for her. And she's not necessarily the loudest person at all these meetings and all this stuff, but she's very there, and she's always supportive, and she'll go and talk if she feels something is wrong. So I think mainly a lot of credit to her. She's really helped guide me to be a really good person and a good activist.
Well, and so I'm going to ask the same question about your mom because of what you just said. And by the way, every guest who comes on my show, I ask what made them an idealist. Mm-hmm. And very, very often, I mean, very often they're talking about a parent or somebody in their life who's a role model. So Anna, what made you an idealist?
Oh my gosh, I don't even know. I just feel like I can see all these things that are not right in the world, and I can't understand why there's an opposing viewpoint to them. And I just feel like if I don't say something or do something, who's going to? And I don't know where that comes from, though. I mean, I've always had supportive parents and, wonderful people in my life, but no one that was necessarily politically active in that way. But I just feel like if not me, then who?
Well, I think that that's a great statement to end this interview on. Both of you, I am just, as I said, my heart is bursting. Okay. Eli, thank you. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being brave. Okay. And I just want you to just keep it up.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. And Anna, you've done a great job. I'm giving you that
I'm so
report
proud
right
of him.
here.
Yes.
Okay. And thank you for bringing him, and thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
So both of you, thanks for being on Ellie 2.0 radio. All right, listeners, we're going to take another break. And when we come back, I'm going to talk about this horrible thing about the child poverty rate doubling in the United States in just 1 year. My head is exploding over that. Okay, you're listening to me, Ellie Krug on Ellie 2.0 radio. If you want to call in, I'd love to hear from you. How often do you get to talk to me? 952-946-6205. We'll be back in a minute. Thanks.
On the resting soul of Galileo, king of night vision, king of...
How does this sound? Doesn't this sound better? If you've decided to level your home and build new or to renovate, hire Better Futures Minnesota instead to take it apart by hand. Think before you scrap. Think of the energy and greenhouse gases saved when someone repurposes your old cabinets, fixtures, and lumber. Think of all the resources saved by diverting those building materials from the landfill. Better Futures Minnesota makes it happen for you. Hennepin County residents and public entities, funds are available to make the environmentally responsible alternative comparable to a typical demolition. For more information, check out betterfuturesminnesota.com. That's betterfuturesminnesota.com, or call 612-351-8650. And don't forget to shop the Reuse Warehouse in Minneapolis.
Are you ready to embark on a journey towards taking control of your health and well-being? I'm Candy Brothel, host of Green Tea Conversations. Join me every Sunday at 10 a.m. as I sit down with the local experts who are bridging the gap between mainstream medicine and complementary therapies. Each week, we explore topics in integrative medicine, nutrition, fitness, creative expression, personal growth, and sustainable living. So grab a cup of tea and join the conversation as we awaken to natural health. Visit us at naturaltwincities.com.
Hi, I'm Peter Solak.
And I'm Adam Ostrowski.
We are here at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces to talk about the joy of live fire cooking. Cooking over a live fire is the oldest and most basic form of cooking.
What's new is in the way fire is handled and its heat is managed.
It's easier to experience and enjoy the smell and taste of food cooked over a live fire.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces sells and installs live fire grills, fire pits, and ovens. Let us help you experience the smell, the taste, the fun of cooking with fire.
Pizza was first made and is still best made in an open fire oven. The radiant and conductive heat of a live fire is unmatched for wood roasting and baking artisan breads too.
Come see the many ways you can cook over a live fire.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces has over 35 working wood and gas units on display at the corner of East Franklin and Riverside Avenue in Minneapolis. More information at woodlandstoves.com. Find the fire that works for you. Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, out of the ordinary products and services since 1977.
Bet you didn't know that 2,300 people in Minnesota are currently waiting for a life-saving transplant. Check your driver's license to see if you're a registered donor. It's an easy way to help others. One donor can save and heal more than 75 lives. Ready to register and don't know how? Check the box on your ID at the DMV or skip the lines and register online today at life-source.org. That's life-source.org. Sponsored by LifeSource, this station, and the Minnesota Broadcasters Association.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Sunshine today with a high of 70, then tonight clear with a low of 50. Nightingale is your cozy, comfortable neighborhood bar and restaurant at 26th and Lindale in Minneapolis. Come in for the famous Nightingale burger or the ginger tamari chicken wings. View their menu or place a takeout order at nightingalempls.com.
These are the days.
And we're back. Ellie 2.0 radio on AM 950. Talk to you from the bunker. Oh my gosh. I don't know about you, okay? But I was not kidding. Not kidding. My heart was bursting with pride and happiness over Eli Frost and his mom, Anna. I mean, the two of them, okay? Thank God, right? This is what may save us. You know, young people and their supportive parents being willing to be involved, to be willing to do things. And I was not kidding. Had Eli not gotten that petition started, I don't think there would have been any change as it related to the graduation venue. So just wow. Okay. Just wow. All right. Now, listen, we have about 20 minutes. And if you want to call me, how often do you get to talk to me? 952-946-6205. I'd love to hear from you. But I'm happy to talk about whatever you want. But here is what I want to talk about right at this moment. And that is the report that came out this week. And I'm kind of reading off of a piece by Jake Johnson with Common Dreams. About how the U.S. child poverty rate more than doubled, okay? More than doubled in 1 year. Now, you may recall, as part of the Pandemic Recovery Act and the American Rescue Plan that President Joe was able to get in place shortly after the election, after being elected in 2021. Part of that included a $500 child tax credit that went to every family with kids. That was $500 per child. All right. And that money went out and the parents were able to, however it worked, it worked to put more money in the pockets of parents. And what that did in 1 year was reduce the child poverty rate down to 5.2% for 2021. Now this thing about child poverty is incredibly important to understand, because if a child if they have insecurity in where they're living, because the parents or the mom, many times it's a single parent, single mom or single dad, can't stay in one place because they can't afford the rent. If they don't get enough food to eat, because that obviously the nutrition affects brain development. If they have other things going on in their lives, which creates chaos and trauma for them, okay, they're not going to learn. And if they're not going to learn, if they're not going to mature, if they're not going to grow, then once you're behind, catching up is incredibly hard to do unless you have an adult or a school system that's really going to help you, okay? And so, but child poverty rate went down to 5.2% in 20. This was incredible. All right, the child tax credit ended in 2021. President Joe wanted to get it renewed. The Republicans, majority in the House, refused to do that. And well, no, that's not correct. The House passed the renewal, but the Senate didn't do it because Joe Manchin didn't agree to it. Say what you will about Joe, and I'd like to say some things too, but I don't want to do it right now. Okay, so the child tax credit did not get renewed. Okay, the American Rescue Plan, that aspect of it didn't get renewed. Okay, and as a result, the U.S. poverty rate for 2022, okay, the child poverty rate increased to 12.4%. More than double what it was in 2021 when families were getting that money. And Manchin's rationale for not agreeing to renew the child tax credit was that all that money was being used by parents for drugs and alcohol and stuff like that, which study after study after study shows that when people get guaranteed income, when they get some extra money, they don't apply it to that kind of stuff. They apply it to their children. They apply it to housing security. Maybe they apply it to going to school so that they can come up the economic rung by getting a degree or advancing their job skill set. Okay. But the child poverty rate went from 5.2% to 12.4% in 1 year. That is so emblematic of what's wrong with our country. And by the way, also the U.S. overall poverty rate, so this would take into account adults as well as children, increased from 7.8% in 2021 because that extra money was helping families, okay? So the poverty rate for everyone went down in 2021. It went down to 7.8%, and that also went up to 12.4% for 2022. More than 37 million people lived in poverty in the U.S. in 2022, and I am positive that percentage has increased in 2023 due to inflation, due to other things that are going on, due to the tightening of the credit market and all of that stuff. I am just appalled that we would let this happen in the United States, and we did. The child tax credit was an experiment, and look, it worked. It really worked. And then we just didn't continue to do it. And of course, if 2024 goes the wrong way, the idea of ever giving families any extra money for their children, we know where that will go. Okay. All right. So that doesn't make me very happy. All right. And here's another depressing story for you. Okay. And that is, of course, that I'm transgender. Everybody listening to the show knows that. And I've been railing about what's been going on in this country. I mean, right now we have more than 20 states. I don't know. It's up to 26. I don't know. That ban trans kids, mainly trans girls, from participating in sports in public schools, from kindergarten public school all the way through senior year public college. We also have more than 20 states that now ban gender-affirming care for trans kids and trans youth. That's what, their ability to go get hormones or to get hormone blockers, puberty blockers, to keep trans girls from developing the voice that Ellie Krug has right now. Also the ability to see therapists and just to monitor their care and give them what they need so that they can grow up to be to not have all kinds of trauma as adults, as transgender people. Well, we've got more than 20 states that have banned gender affirming care. Some states have criminalized, doctors. I mean, in Alabama, a doctor could go to prison for 10 years for providing gender affirming care. And I had Erin Reed on my show. She's a transgender woman. She's a blogger, a journalist, online journalist. I had her on my show. I keep following her. If you want to keep doing this, go to Erin in the Morning, ERIN, Reed, and follow her blog. But in her blog right now, came out this week, she wrote about how in Florida, which wants to ban gender affirming care, where there had been a hold on that. A federal court had said it was unconstitutional, went up to the 11th Circuit. The Court of Appeals said no. And so the injunction that the federal judge had issued, he had to remove that injunction. And now gender affirming care for children is being banned in Florida, but it's also affecting adults because the same law that banned gender affirming care for youth also said change the way that doctors could prescribe hormones. Okay. For example, Ellie Krug, I take estrogen on a regular basis. Trust me. Okay. I got a little patch right now on my hip. Okay. That in Florida, that doctors could know under this new law that that eliminated gender affirming care for youth, the same law prohibited nurse practitioners from prescribing estrogen or testosterone for transgender people. Prohibited it. Okay. And nurse practitioners were doing 80% of that prescribing, 80% of that treatment. And now that has gone away, there are not enough doctors to provide the care, the prescriptions, and the treatment for adults in Florida. So now adults have in Florida who are transgender face this choice of either medically detransitioning, that is where where you're no longer able to get the hormones that you need to be who you are. Okay. The choice of being forced to detransition from that, or the requirement that they have to move and go to a state. And trust me, it's fewer and fewer states that are protecting trans people with health care, but move to a state that provides health care. Can you imagine that? I mean, the state has decided you can't get your treatment. And you're like, what am I going to do? And the state's essentially, Florida's like, we don't care. Same problem in Missouri. Okay, so we're getting now into the central part of the country. In Missouri passed a law that went into effect this summer saying that people who detransition, that is where you say, okay, I made a mistake, I need to go back to the gender I was assigned at birth, they have a 15-year window to sue their therapist or their medical provider who provided the hormones for them. 15-year window. And Washington University, which had the largest gender care clinic in Missouri, closed because of that law, because that 15-year window, I mean, it's too much liability. They can't get malpractice coverage to cover them. And they just said, this window is too big. We can't take the risk. And so what does that mean? Okay. That means that transgender people in Missouri have fewer options in Missouri to get hormones. And that means they too are going to be faced with the question of, do I uproot everything, the family that I have here? Do I all the friends that I developed, the job that I developed? I have to leave all of that in order to care for me or somebody in my life. And you may think that this is all theoretical, but I will tell you something. I was in Iowa this week. I went down to Iowa. Oh my gosh, it was a very long day. I had to drive down there early in the morning to Ankeny, Iowa, right outside of Des Moines, do 2 trainings, get back in the car, drive back to Iowa or back to Minnesota. But I was down there. I was training the clerks of court across the state. So all the clerks of court, their high-level managers, and the court administrators, those are the people that help keep the system running properly. I trained more than 100 people, and I gave one talk on allyship and another talk, my signature talk, on gray area thinking. And as I was wrapping up and selling some books, one of the people who were buying my book from the clerk's office, these are exceedingly well-paying jobs with very good benefits, said to me, Ellie, she said, because she has a transgender daughter, 10 years old, she said, Ellie, tell me about St. Louis Park. And I said, why? She said, well, that's one of the towns we're looking at in Minnesota for us to move, because we have to move for our daughter, because in Iowa, they've prohibited gender affirming care for children as well, of course. She said, we have to move. So this woman with a wonderful job, and who knows, family and roots, all kinds of roots, because the state has prohibited gender affirming care in Iowa, yep, they have to leave. And she's going to do that for her daughter, to protect her daughter. Thank God for Minnesota. Thank God we protect humans here in a way that most states don't. Okay. All right. I'm going to take a break. All right. So those are the depressing things. Hold on. When you come back, I've got a happy thing that'll get you lifted back up. Don't worry. It's good. It's good. You're listening to me, Ellie Krug, on Ellie 2.0 radio. When we come back, I'll get you the happy thing. Then I'll talk about what I got going on this week. Listening to me, Ellie 2.0 radio. We'll be back on AM 950 in a second. Thanks. Hello, this is Ellie Krug from Ellie 2.0 radio on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Many listeners know that I train on human inclusivity and on how to be welcoming to diverse humans. Today, organizations of all sizes find that they need to train team members on equity and dismantling racism. I can do that. Many say that my trainings change how they see the world. And now I'm doing all of my work online so everyone can attend regardless of where you're located. For more information, go to elliekrug.com. Thank you. I look forward to hearing from you.
Whether you rent or own a home, we all likely have nightmare stories about home maintenance, or what I like to call home cringe moments. Join me, your host, Katie Shahan, for the Yarlow Home Cringe Show. See what home cringe-worthy stories we have for you each week as we talk with local home service pros. Learn best practices for winterizing your home or what to look for after a hailstorm. Listen to the Yarlow Home Cringe Show every Sunday at 2 p.m. or on your favorite podcast app.
Peace of mind shouldn't cost a fortune. We keep things simple at Schroman Law because we believe planning for your estate and end-of-life care shouldn't be stressful or expensive. Every client relationship starts with a free consultation so clients have the information they need before making important decisions. From there, we work closely with clients to ensure they are choosing the most efficient and cost-effective plans for their specific needs. Schedule a free consultation today at schromenlaw.com. That's SCHROMEN law.com.
Hi, it's Freddie Bell, host of New Beginnings, heard every Saturday at 11 a.m. right here on AM 950. Each week, I bring you timely information on finances, AARP updates, Minnesota Department of Health information, what's going on around our area, a spiritual message, my words to the wise, history notes, and more. So tune in this Saturday at 11 a.m. for New Beginnings with me, Freddie Bell. I'll see you then.
When a drunk driver hit my car, the structural integrity and safety features of my Toyota Sienna saved my life. I will always own one. That's it. That's the ad. I don't think I need to add anything else, but I'll gladly mention their sales team is attentive and friendly. Their service department is the best in the state, and their vehicles, you can put a lot of faith in the quality and safety of a Toyota vehicle. The structural integrity and safety features of my Toyota Sienna saved my life. I will always own one. That says it all. Rudy Luther Toyota, 5 miles west of Minneapolis on 394.
Hi, this is Laura. Listen to Food Freedom Radio every Saturday at 8 a.m. or anytime via podcast. Our individual health is connected to the health of each other and connected to the health of the earth. We know the problems with the dominant food system: climate change, deadening soils, nitrates in the water, factory farming, injustice, concentration of wealth. How do we both as individuals and as a community step up and support a living food system which honors the earth? Tune to Food Freedom Radio every Saturday at 8 a.m. and remember to support your independent farmers.
And we're back. Ellie 2.0 radio. Okay, all right. If I got you depressed, well, hold on. The show starts out with this incredibly idealistic 16-year-old. I mean, come on. I really got you up for that. Okay, that had to be, help you rise. Okay, yes, I gave you some depressing things, but now I'm going to give you something good and to get you back up. Okay, and that is this. This week on Tuesday of this week in Chaska in Carver County, there was the Carver County Library Board was faced with the task of deciding whether or not to ban the book Genderqueer. Genderqueer is the most banned book in America. It is a graphic kind of memoir about coming out for a particular person who identifies as trans or non-binary and queer and all that stuff. And it has some graphic images, but not a whole lot, but some. But somebody brought that book to the library board and said, we want to ban this book. It's pornography. They hadn't even read the book. Okay. They hadn't even read the book. And I think they were associated with Moms for Liberty. So just be aware of that. So the library board on Tuesday had to decide whether they were going to ban it or not. I will tell you, it was standing room only in that room. There must have been 100 people. 22 or 25 people spoke, including yours truly. Not one of them spoke in favor of banning that book. Not one of them. Everyone was like, keep the book in the library. And you know what? The library board voted 4-0 in favor of keeping the book. In fact, 2 of the library board members went on record as saying, I don't believe in banning any book. And hopefully that will be enough to deter people from coming back to try and ban more books in Eastern Carver County. I just, but my God, the energy in that room and Carver County, formerly a red county. I'm not no longer. Okay. It's got to be purple. It's got to be purple heading somewhere. I just got to tell you. Okay. Because the energy that was in that room, the degree of positivity about how all humans have the right to exist. Okay. It was so heartwarming. And so here you go, Ellie Krug getting her heart warmed multiple times this week. How do you like that? But that is an incredibly great story. Okay. And it's going to be one that I'm going to share. I'm going to be speaking at the DFL dinner in Waconia the week after next. I'm going to share about that story, about how actually there's reason to hope. There is. And I happen to be on the ground seeing the things that are causing us to have hope. All right. Now, that brings me to my work as an idealist, although I just told you a little bit about it because I went to that meeting and spoke. But gray area thinking coming up. If you have an interest, it's going to be in a public setting on Tuesday night in Chaska, Crown of Glory Lutheran Church. Yep, I'm starting to speak in more and more churches. I'm just thrilled about being able to do that. Okay. And so Crown of Glory is going to have me. It's going to go from 6:30 to 8:30 on Tuesday night, the 19th. No fee, it's all free. Okay. Come and go through my signature training, gray area thinking. I gave that this week to the clerks of court in Iowa, as I said. They absolutely loved it. Okay. Now remember, Iowa, really red state. I had some concerns about doing it down in Iowa because they were state employees, or county employees. And was I going to get some pushback from some people, all that stuff? None at all. And instead, people embraced gray area thinking. So you come to Crown of Glory in Chaska Tuesday night at 6:30, and you can go through gray area thinking as well. Okay. So, hey, it's all good stuff. Okay. Now listen, next week, I don't know what I got. Okay. Probably not a live show. So, and the week after that, John Blake from CNN is going to come and talk about his book, his brand new book, More Than I Imagined. All right. I need to give my big thanks to my producer, Patrick, who came in today just for me. I'm just very thankful for you, Patrick. Thank you for doing that. And listeners, between now and when you hear my voice next, okay, will you do me a favor? You know what I'm going to ask, right? Go out and do something to make the world better. You can do that. Send somebody a note, open a door for someone, but go out and make the world better for other people. I'll talk to you next week. Ellie Krug, over and out.
Don't drive too fast or you will miss Scott Jemama's Hot Barbecue.